Today, my fellow Catholic, we're going to be talking about major gift fundraising, which means large donors, big gifts, large donations, anything with asking for a large sum of money. That's going to be the key topic. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 pieces of advice that I think are going to give you a great foundation for major gift fundraising, large donors, all that. I think the next 3 pieces of advice, it's what I think is pretty much the base of everything that I do. So stick with me to the very end. Each one of these strategies is going to add on top of one another, and I think you're going to walk away with a good perspective of like, okay, I understand how to do major donor fundraising. But before we dive in, just a quick introduction. My name is Brice Sokolowski, the founder of CatholicFundraiser.net, a website, an apostolate completely dedicated to helping Catholics with their fundraising. So whether you're starting out and you're just looking for which direction to go, or you're well on your way and you're just looking for maybe some fresh ideas or just making sure that you haven't forgotten anything, you are in the right spot. And before we dive in completely, free gift to you, my 10 Commandments to Catholic Fundraising. This is a guide that I'm offering to you absolutely for free of 10 things that I found have really helped Catholics move forward with their fundraising. So they have a complete, you could say, a 360 perspective on what you should be doing, what your apostolate should be doing, and kind of what your team should be doing. It's a good base for everything fundraising. The link is going to be right below. Again, completely free. And below as well, you're going to find all of my kind of like the discussion notes, everything that I'm going to be looking at on my piece of paper right here, I'm going to be putting right below. So you're going to be completely equipped with everything that you need regarding major gift fundraising and moving forward with your fundraising. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm going to be offering you 3 pieces of advice on major gift fundraising. And the first piece of advice that I have is that before you ask anybody for a donation, they have to know who you are. So let's say, for example, you find out that there's a very wealthy Catholic in your area. Step 1 is not to ask them for a donation. Step 1 is introduce yourself and introduce your apostolate. Very simple. You can do this. There's nothing required with fundraising or asking for a donation. This is a very, very important step, which a lot of people overlook. You might overlook it because you just want to get it done. My recommendation is you have to give an introduction and you have to meet them and you have to know a little bit about them and they have to know a little bit about you. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is they have to love what you do. So this is where you add on what you just did, an introduction. So you have to somehow invite them into the fold, invite them into the apostolate. Remember, you're doing God's work, and God's work is bringing people, into the fold. That's, if you read the Catechism of the Catholic Church and they talk about pursuing a vocation, which an apostolate, you could say, is, it's very important, the Catechism says, that to pursue your vocation is you need to have a community around you. And so before you ever say, hey, donate and then become part of my community, is you really have to first make sure that they're part of your community. And is that going to take a little bit of effort? Yeah, I think so, but it's extremely beneficial because I would say the majority of the time somebody who loves what you do is going to stick around. So if you're just looking for that quick donation, or you're like, I want somebody donating for a long time, you really have to do this. And if you don't do it, you might get a big donation, but more than likely they might not donate next year. So save yourself the time, energy, and effort for your future sanity when it comes to fundraising, because you can, this can get this tough. This can get really, really tough, fundraising. So they have to know and love what you do. So just take some time to get to know them, build a relationship. This is all very basic stuff. Nothing to do with fundraising, but essential. And then the third point, which obviously encapsulates, I guess, what everybody's looking for, is like, well, what am I supposed to say and what am I supposed to do? Well, it comes down to a direct ask. You just have to look at them face to face and say, Jim, Janice, Tim, Jessica, whatever it is, you ask them directly. So that really is major gift fundraising in a nutshell. They have to know who you are, they have to love what you do, and then you have to directly ask them. There are no other secrets. And some people might hear this and they might be saying, well, I really want to know the specifics. How do I know this rich guy, I want to like just ask him for money. How do I do it? Like I laid it out. This is actually how you do it. If you look at even the non-Catholic nonprofits out there that are bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars, this is the strategy. This is the strategy for Catholic apostolates that I helped that even raise $100,000, and they're consistent with their fundraising. This is the strategy. It's very practical. No, they have to know you, they have to love what you do, and you literally have to just directly ask them. Now, if you want to know like the specifics of, well, what am I supposed to actually say, jump over to my website. I have examples of what to actually say. I also have programs that can teach you how to say it in any type of scenario. But for the most part, for right here, right now, I think this is the solid foundation. So I leave you with that. If you have any questions, reach out to me at catholicfundraiser.net. Forward this to your board or your leadership team or a Catholic apostolate that you think might benefit from it. Or just leave a comment and say, hey, thanks so much. I always love hearing from you. All of my topics come from people who have emailed me and asked me a question. So, God love you and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.